Oh, yeah?
Hello, welcome back to Thief 2. I am your Fragrant Daisy, last fair deal. And we're going to go ahead and get this going, because I got some shit to say.
Our guest, Cavador, just spilled his guts.
Not literally.
It wasn't necessary. Cavador was instructed to deliver two sorts of artifacts. Brass masks and
Those slave masks on Karras's servants?
some sort of agricultural device called a cultivator. 30 of each.
Each. So they're connected.
We have to assume so. Unfortunately, our efforts to secure a mask have been frustrated.
Listen, I think I know where we can lay our hands on one of those masks. There's a collector named Gervasius with an interest in masks and headdresses. Last time I was down in the Lost City, he had a commission out for that sort of thing.
Gervasius? I've had an agent on his case, and apparently the mechanists have been making overtures.
3 guesses why. What can your agent give me on his house?
Gervasius is planning an exhibition. He's bringing his collection with him from his summer home. The private exhibit areas are on the top floor. Access is by elevator, controlled from the top floor. It's almost airtight.
Almost?
There's talk of a secret passage. Unfortunately, its location remains secret.
Then I'll need to find it. Now. We can't afford any delays later when the masks arrive. Karras is holed up inside the Mechanist Cathedral, and it looks like whatever he's up to, we're running out of time.
Alright, casing the joint. Find out where the secret stairway is and how to access it. Open the door to it to make sure. If you get a chance to find out what kind of correspondence the Mechanists have been sending Gervasius, it would save you having to do it on your return trip. Gervasius's penchant for secret passages is sure to come in handy if you can just find them. Find at least 7 secrets. You don't have much information on the interior of the mansion yet. Map out at least half of the mansion. Make a clean getaway to the streets in front of the house. If anyone knows you are here, casing the joint won't be worth much. Don't get into any confrontations with the locals. Now, I said earlier that I had some shit to say. When I was editing this video, I realized that it was fucking boring. And a lot of it has to do with this mission. I realized that everything I was talking about was just, you're picking up this coin here, you're activating this secret here, because nothing happens in this mission. It's dreadful. So I realized it was boring. I couldn't use it. So instead, I'm re-recording the audio, and we're going to have a little bit of story time. I'm going to talk at you, provide some commentary on this game, this level, and the bigger picture with Looking Glass Studios and what ultimately became of them, because they closed their doors after this game was released. So if you just want to watch the loot and the secrets, feel free to silence this shit and just watch that. But otherwise, you're going to hear me talk for a bit. But first, let's talk a little about this level and how this is the point in the game where many people feel like Thief 2 shits the bed.
Stand forth and be recognized.
Honestly, the last third of this game, basically after Life of the Party, feels like a dramatic drop in level quality. But this level is called Casing the Joint. We aren't actually doing anything of note on this level. We're just collecting hundreds of stupid coins, as you'll see, finding secrets, and then leaving. There's no plot development. Nothing interesting happens throughout most of it until we get to the haunted library. We'll all shut up and we'll talk about it. And in case the game didn't spell it out enough, we are going to come back in the next mission and do the same thing. The same level twice in a row. That would be cool, I guess, if the level was fucking interesting. But it's not. However, There is a certain connectedness between our two visits, which is actually quite cool. On this mission, however much of the map we explore is what we will have to work with on the next mission. It says explore at least half of the mansion. But that is pretty badass. The idea that whatever you explore on this level is what you have to work with, that's cool. So you don't explore, you get no map, asshole. Fuck you. So I like that. Another cool thing is the objective to find some correspondence between the Mechanist and Gervasius. This is an optional objective. It says it would be helpful to find it before your return trip, but it is optional this time. But it will be required when we come back. And if we do it this time, which we will, by the way, it will already be checked off on the next level. That's really cool. Also, the secrets we discover along the way will help when we come back. But you're going to see, like right here, collecting these coins on the sill, you're going to see that pretty much all the loot is just coins everywhere. Like, it just feels lazy. And you might say, hey, fuck mouth. They need to give you some cash to spend in the next mission. Yeah. But
storage.
The loot...
I'm sure Gervasius has lots of things down here that he'll never miss.
The loot feels...
At least not until it's too late.
Shut up, Garrett. The loot feels like an afterthought, especially when it's literally just purses and coins littered everywhere. There are far better ways they could have done it. Thief Gold has several levels where the loot amounts were very low or non-existent for thematic reasons. They could have removed the dumb coins and left the rest. Or maybe have secret chests that contained items you could use that carried over into the next mission. You know, the more secrets you find, the more shit you get. Or they could have had a little cutscene where Garrett says a fence loaned him some cash. I'm just saying the loot in this mission feels tacked on. Actually, what really would have been cool, now that I think about it, is having no required objectives. Like, you can enter the mission to case the joint and leave immediately and move on if you wanted to. Complete player agency. If you don't explore the map and find secrets and plan, well, fuck you then when you come back. You know? They could have filled the next level with guards. And if you didn't find any secrets in this mission, you were fucked. Like, that would have been really cool. Player agency. But, you know, enough about that, I guess. You know,
seems quiet enough
I guess enough about this level. You know, there's a reason why this level and the next one feels like a big letdown. But there's also a reason why I refuse to shit on Looking Glass Studios for it. Looking Glass at this time was facing pretty much catastrophic... Oh, by the way, these consoles, these two bottom switches here, if the levers are out, don't flip them down, because that actually activates the traps. But yeah, moving on. Looking Glass at this time was facing catastrophic financial ruin. You know, this company is kind of famous now and highly influential because they made, you know, the Ultima games, and they made System Shock 1 and 2, which are incredibly famous, and Thief, which is highly influential. But these games didn't make a whole lot of money. But Thief the Dark Project was a pretty big success for them, and their publisher was Eidos, however you pronounce it, and they were contracted to make 4 more Thief games. The first they made was Thief Gold, which, if you remember, was an expansion on Thief 1. The second was Thief 2. The third was going to be Thief 2 Gold, and then Thief 3. However, during the making of this game, they ran out of money. And Eidos was basically cutting them blank checks to get the game done. This thing that I just picked up is a little cuckoo. We're going to need that to eventually access the 3rd floor. The 3rd floor is ultimately what we're trying to do in this mission. We're trying to find the secret passageway that leads up to the 3rd floor. We're not going to explore the 3rd floor because there's no loot up there. We will explore it when we come back. But that's what that's for, so make sure you grab that. But yeah, during the making of this game, they ran out of money, and Eidos was giving them money. But the caveat was that they were told that the game had to ship on time, period. Whether the game was complete or not,
How'd you get it?
it had to be released. And they did, after a huge crunch period, but they had to cut corners. And you can feel it. This map is reused twice. Back to fucking back. The city map is reused twice. The KD site was just the Lost City map from Thief Gold, slightly modified. And the last third of this game has a massive drop in quality, pretty much right after Life of the Party, which is the highlight for me. But they did finish it. Unfortunately, even though the game did sell better than Thief 1, the royalties for the game were coming in too slowly, and they couldn't stay afloat. They had a deal where Eidos would buy them so they could stay a developer. But Eidos had to go back on that deal when they suffered their own financial crisis after the astronomical flop of a game called Daikatana, which was being headed by John Romero from Doom fame. That game was immensely expensive to make. I think Wikipedia said it was like 40 mil. And it was released to absolutely abysmal reviews. And I think it sold like 40,000 copies. Which is terrible. So Eidos was in the fucking hole. You know, probably $30 million because of this fucking game. So Eidos said, I'm sorry, Looking Glass, we can't buy you. So, a few months after this game was released, Looking Glass Studios forever shut their doors. Eidos ended up buying the Thief IP at auction and would end up delegating the development of Thief 3 to Ion Studios, another company that is famous for making Deus Ex. Warren Spector, who was pretty much the mastermind behind Deus Ex, actually created a core team for Thief 3 comprised of a lot of former Looking Glass employees. So even though Thief 3 is very different, and actually along with Deus Ex and Invisible War, I think were the progenitors of the term consolitis, which, I mean, that's another story on another day, and we'll get into it when we eventually play Thief 3, but it's considered part of the classic Thieves primarily because the team was able to stick together. Some of them, at least. They did have Thief 3 Looking Glass pretty far along, at least at the conceptual stage, so I think some of that did go into Thief 3 eventually. Ion Storm's version of it. It's actually called Thief 3 or Thief Deadly Shadows. And Thief 2 Gold was planned, but never released, which is a real shame because Thief Gold is considered to be an improvement on Thief the Dark Project, to the point where you can't even buy Thief the Dark Project. You have to buy Thief Gold. That is the version you get. Thief 2, I feel like if they had a chance, would have been able to fix a lot of the issues in this game. You know, they would have been able to have time and money to make some new maps and replace the ones they reuse. And it's just kind of unfortunate that, you know, what could have been? You know, what could have fucking been? But, yeah. That's pretty much the story of Looking Glass and how Thief 2 was the last thing they ever did, so. Anyway, that's all I pretty much have to say about that. I totally forgot there was wine bottles here. And a couple spice bags over here. Considering most of the loot is coins. And we'll definitely talk more about Thief 3 when we eventually play it. I'm not sure if I'll play it soon. There's a lot of games coming out this summer I want to play, but I mean, ultimately after Thief 3 came out, Ion Storm closed their doors. Eidos still owned the Thief IP and didn't do anything with it for a while. Until basically Thief 2014, the reboot, which originally was going to be Thief 4, but they decided to do a reboot instead, was a response to Dishonored. Because Dishonored came out in 2012, which was heavily fucking inspired by this series, and everyone fucking knows it. And Eidos basically looked at Arcane Studios and said, "Oh yeah? Well, we're gonna fucking make a real Thief game." And then they released Thief 2014, a game famous for literally destroying the fucking franchise. I think the best thing I ever heard someone describe Thief is, if you look at Thief as just a game, take away the name of Thief and just make it a stealthy game, it's mediocre at best. And if you call it a Thief game, it's absolutely fucking terrible. And even though Eidos has done good work, the Hitman series is good. I love Deus Ex Human Revolution. I think it's fantastic. And they actually put their best team, they felt, their A team, on fucking Thief. But unfortunately, they fucked it right up the asshole in every way imaginable. Primarily because, if you look at the Wikipedia page, they refuse to listen to any fans at any point. I don't think video game developers should be beholden to fans to a massive degree, but I do think that if you don't listen to them to some degree, you're going to make a game that no one wants to play. And that's exactly what happened. They basically just told everyone, you don't know what you want to play, we're going to fucking make the game and you're going to love it. And no one did. I will eventually play, I've never played it, but I will eventually play Thief 2014 on the channel, so I can get mad, basically. I'm hoping I'll get mad. Because I just heard it's awful. If you love these games, you're going to hate Thief. And I'm like, great, let's fucking play it. In fact, it sells so poorly, I guess, that whenever the game is on sale on the PlayStation Store or on PC, it's on sale for like a fucking $1. Like, no one wants this game. By the way, in this part, I keep going back to the first floor. I jumped off the balcony to the first floor because I know there was a purse on a guard I was missing. And
I know you're around here.
I find
somewhere.
him here, but I didn't want to move on and then forget the purse, so that's why I came back down here. But after this purse, I'm going to go back up. But yeah, if you've made it this far in my boring fucking history of Thief and Looking Glass, you'll notice that there's not a whole lot to this mansion. All the wings look the same. I mean, the ballroom is kind of interesting. I like the floor. But there's just not a whole lot going on. Conceptually, it's cool. You know, casing the joint. If you really want to be honest, this is the most Thief mission there ever was. Because you're here to case the joint, do some research, find out how you're going to come back and steal all the treasure. I guess the way a successful thief really would do it. You know? A thief that doesn't get caught and makes away with good money, I'm assuming cases the joint. doesn't just walk in and hope for the best. At least that's what the movies tell me. I'm trying to twist around and land on the platform like that. I realize at this point, a second later, that I could have just gotten on top of the beam and just dropped onto the balcony, but I'm fucking stupid, so. This particular hallway is actually kind of tough because there's not really shadows to hide in.
What's over there?
Except for maybe the doorways. But I guess, you know, let me know if you enjoyed this little discussion on Looking Glass in this game. I thought it was kind of fun. You know, I consider myself a PhD professor because I did my research on Wikipedia, so I'm good now. But it was fun. I feel like maybe on future games, having an episode where I talk less about the level itself and maybe more about the history of the game or something like that might be kind of fun. I don't know. It's just an idea. This is a new channel. I'm trying to figure out what works and what doesn't, so let me know if you liked it or if you thought it was boring. By the way, I'm looking in some of those little nooks by the cameras because there is a coin located in one of them. I find it later, but I'm just trying to make sure I don't leave it. Next mission, when we come back, it is a little bit more interesting, just because there are more guards, and you can actually knock them out. Because if that wasn't clear, this isn't just like in the level Framed, where we break into the police station or whatever. We can have 0 interaction with guards. If they see us, we lose. It's not like we can throw a flash bomb and run away. If they see us, we lose. That's why I essentially have to ghost this level. So next mission, there's more guards, but we can actually knock them out, so it's more fun, and it's more filled out because we come back. It's considered in the timeline to be weeks later, and there's more conversations to listen to. There's more stuff to read. It's just a little bit more visually interesting and stimulating when we come back. So at least rest assured that it's a little bit better next one, and we actually get real loot and not just these stupid fucking coins. That objective, I don't look at my objectives because I know what it was. It was, I had explored 50% of the map. No coin there. But there is a switch there. Oh yeah, that's another thing that you may have been wondering. The first time you open any door into a secret passage that has multiple openings, the first time it will count as a secret. But any additional door that you open into the same secret passageway will not count as a secret. So just keep that in mind. That's why some doors have been activating as secrets and some haven't.
Didn't sound like rats this time. I'll turn you up soon enough.
One thing I didn't know about when...
Probably just the sir checking up on
One thing I didn't realize until I was actually looking at the Wikipedia page on this game was some of the...
Sergeant Porter, it would appear that I...
So I actually back out of this room. That conversation, when it's done, causes the lady who's talking to start patrolling the ballroom. And while I still have to go through it, I don't want her to be patrolling in there, so I don't want to activate that conversation until later. That's why I restart. And I promise you, we are coming up on a rather interesting, the only interesting part, I feel, in the mission. The promised haunted library. But what I was mentioning before, when they were talking about the advancements they made in this game in terms of like sound, they actually said that sound will travel through open doors at a regular amount, whatever you want to say, frequency, blah, blah, blah. But when it's closed, it won't, basically. They basically tried to make the sound a lot more realistic. So this one is the only switch that's actually in the down position. You want to actually pull that out to deactivate it. It's the only trap that starts activated. So they kind of trip you up a little bit. But yeah, they might sound obvious, but the fact that sound through a closed door is not silent, it's just muffled. It just reduces the amount they can hear is actually really fucking cool. And we are approaching the haunted library right now. Actually, when I first played this mission, I didn't realize that I could walk through the curtains. I kept trying to slice them with my sword, thinking that they were like a banner that you could cut down. And so the first time I ever played this level, I couldn't find any fucking secrets because I didn't realize you could walk through the curtains. Because I'm a fucking idiot.
Huh? What?
Alright, here we go. Now we're heading to the haunted library. So she's not hostile, but there is a hostile ghost walking around. My darling Lorna, I do not understand how your husband, my insufferable assistant, can treat you as he does. I swear I won't let him hit you again. I'll take you away from all of this someday. Just have patience. There are few who can afford to keep such a library as my Lord Gervasius. It will take me time to find another patron such as he. Our nights together will be heavenly. Your Giles. So the ghost that's walking around and is actually hostile right now is Giles, and the female ghost we've been seeing is Lorna. My sweet Lorna, I have the best news. I've discovered that Lord Holanthrus, advisor to the Baron, has need of a new librarian. His library is selective, but is said to be one of the best in the city. I will speak of this to Lord Gervasius. He is a reasonable man and will give me my leave. Ashton is a capable librarian and will make a suitable replacement for me, which will appease Gervasius. Ashton will be happy with the promotion, and that will have to be his consolation when he finds out he is losing you. Uh-oh. It's getting spicy. My darling Giles, Oh, my love, I swear I will leave Ashton just as soon as you give me the word. But if we are to be together, then you know we cannot stay here. It will be impossible for you to work with Ashton after we marry, and more importantly, I don't trust him. He would never give us any peace. I don't want to start our new life together with such troubles. Oh, darling, promise me you won't. Your fragrant daisy, Lorna. That's right. There it is.
Nobody knows. Nobody sees.
I'm trying to find this last book. Dearest Giles, your news is indeed wonderful. I treasure your letter as I do all that you sent me. I must tell you, I had a close call last night. I was preparing to read your letter when Ashton came into our rooms. I hopped into bed and hid the letter under my pillow. Thankfully, when I woke in the morning, the letter was still there undisturbed. Soon we will be done with Ashton and the awful memories of this place. I will divorce him, and then we will tell Gervasius of your new situation. I'm so glad I believed in you. Your sweet pea, Lorna.
Either someone's hiding the evidence, or these guys got lost in 10 feet of passage.
Here are the bodies of Giles and Lorna. So, you'll also notice that the haunting has stopped. Upon reading the 4 notes and activating that secret and finding the bodies, the ghost disappears. I guess saved, released, maybe? I'm not exactly sure. But, yeah, they were murdered. And we're about to find out why. These weren't here before, by the way. Lord Gervasius, I hope thou hast enjoyed the luxury and security which the builder's children have brought thee. In such a cruel and uncaring world as this, true friends must aid each other. 'Tis my hope that I might consider thee such a friend and colleague. I look forward to attending thy reception for thy exhibition. 'Tis said thou hast one of the finest manors in the city, and I eagerly anticipate a chance to visit it. I am told thou hast most wondrous terrariums. It would please me greatly to see these and thy private exhibition rooms when I arrive. I know of what import thy collections are to thee, but it's my hope that thou wouldst honor me with a gift, namely certain ancient masks and the Cultivator artifact. 'Twould of course be after the exhibition ends. These items are priceless and would be a great favor to me if thou wouldst part with them willingly. I assure thee that I will make it worth thy while, both through further mechanist gifts and through the gift of a certain painting by Durant, which I'm told thou hast been trying to acquire, Master Karras. So
Looks like I'll be able to get one of those cultivators when I come back.
So this is the note that is optional. Find and read the correspondence from the mechanist to Gervasius. That is required next time, so we took care of it already, which is nice. My Lord Gervasius, it comes as a great shock to me to have to tell you that head librarian Giles and my wife, my dear Lorna, have run away together. I'm beside myself with this loss. I cannot stay here. This place holds too many painful memories. I don't understand how my dear friend and my wonderful wife could do this to me. I've decided to take a position as a librarian with Lord Holanthus. I want you to know that I have only the utmost esteem for my lord, but I cannot stay here with these memories haunting me so. Your lowly servant, Assistant Librarian Ashton.
Ash, you are a bastard.
Yeah, so that undisturbed note that she said apparently was disturbed. Ashton must have found it and killed them and hid them in the wall. And I don't think this little side story here has any plot significance at all. It might have been added to make this level not so fucking boring. But here we go. You stick the cuckoo in here and set it to midnight. And there is the path to the third floor. We technically can explore it now. I'll shut up.
I was on my way to file the Lord's letters. Then I heard this terrible sound. And when I turned around, the M stacks were gone.
I'll say you got turned around all right.
You don't understand. I dropped the letters on the floor and they were gone too. I looked everywhere.
I don't know what you expect me to do about it. I'm a guard, not an exorcist.
Some help you are.
So basically what he's talking about is when the haunting is taking place, row M in the books where he dropped his 2 notes are gone. When you kill the ghost or free him, whatever you want to say, then the M row comes back and the letters are there. But yeah, there's no reason to go up to the 3rd floor now. There's no loot up there. We could technically explore it to give us the map, I guess, for the 3rd level, but we have to go up there anyway, so we may as well leave it so we have something actually unique in the next mission. So I'm not going to go up there. And at this point, we're collecting the final coin, and we have one last piece of loot to get, which I save for last because it is, I'm showing you right here, it's the street. We have to go out the front door into the street. It's the only way there. And the guard who's guarding that door has a purse, and we're going to grab it on him. And then get the fuck out of there. This boring level. So at this point, I'm going to go and activate the... activate the conversation with the woman, because she can patrol the ballroom now. We don't need to go back.
Around here somewhere.
I gotta say, I don't ghost these games. It's not quite my play style. I do like to play non-lethally, but not being able to knock these guys out is seriously fucking up my jam. That's why the return trip is better.
Sergeant Porter, it wouldst appear that I erred in judgment.
Oh, hello, Hobart. Why is that?
Thou knowest how burdensome preparation of the mansion hath been for me. Steward Duma hath charged me with leading the construction in the ballroom, which goeth ever so slowly. He hath even demanded that all the clocks and other mechanist devices in the manor be inspected and repaired if there be faults found. Thy masters wish everything perfect for their celebration 2 weeks hence. 'Twas such a great task that in my haste I have misplaced my toolbox, which contained a part from one of the clocks.
So we have a clock that doesn't tell time. Won't be the first time in this place. I'm still amazed you got all the metal eyes working.
No, thou dost not understand. 'Tis that clock.
Well then, you better get looking and find that piece before Lord Gervasius gets back. He'll have your head otherwise. Good luck, Foreman Hobart.
Yeah, they're talking about the clock we already did. Obviously, the game wanted us to activate this conversation first. Alright, there's the last piece of loot. And he faces the door, so he can't get out that way without being seen. So the easiest way is to get onto the
Hello? Anyone there?
balcony and then jump to the ledge above him. And BLAP! It's over. Thank God. And that is casing the joint. Yay. 41 minutes, 2685 loot, 9 out of 9 secrets. There we go. And I'll see you on the next one where we come right back here. Thank you for joining me on History Time with Last Fair Deal. And hopefully you'll help me finish out the last 2 episodes in this game by joining me on the next ones. Right? Yeah, cool. Anyway, stay safe out there. Have a good night. Peace out.